Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast, episode number 45, Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors with special guests Scott Mclean and Mike Grandstaff. Big Buck Registry is a virtual museum of hunting stories. We preserve a piece of Americana by interviewing and recording hunters about their hunts and experiences from across the country. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two along the way that'll help us take our hunt to the next level.
This is Lane Benoit, Master Tracker. You're listening to my favorite podcast on iTunes, the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Jay Scott, your host of the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. I am here with Dusty Phillips once again from Ohio. Dusty, what's going on?
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Just enjoying this fine weather here in Ohio. It's about 62 degrees out today, and we're supposed to get some storms in tonight, but, other than that, it's been really nice. What's going on in New Hampshire?
Well, it's, it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's starting to feel a little bit like turkey season. I can smell it in the air, and just can't wait. Can't wait for a little warm up here. I'm kind of over with the winter season.
When the Thunder Chickens season opens up, it just, it's a fresh start to a new year of hunting.
It is. And I think my year starts with turkey hunting, but I've always got deer hunting on my mind. I really, first couple times in the woods, I'm always just kind of feeling it out. It's like a new experience every year. It's just, I don't know, it's like it's almost like a fresh voyage every single time the new season comes around. I look at it as a full year, not just, turkey season or fishing season. It's like a full year of being outdoors. That's how I view it.
I agree to that. It's almost like you're a professional sports player when season opens.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes from one date to another date, opening and ending, no different than a sports player. So I kind of look at it like that. It's I got my off season, which is right now.
Right.
Kind of down. We're able to podcast a lot and enjoy listening to the hunters talk and have a good time here on the Big Buck Registry Big Buck Podcast. But, we're going to keep after it during season, but it kind of gets off my mind. The podcast kind of goes out to another area in my mind, and I start focusing on turkey hunting, and obviously I'll be prepping for deer season to open, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy. Like, there's you have a few months off season, but then from late April or mid-April all the way through basically mid-December, it's game on.
It's game on until February here.
February for you. You have an extended season.
Yeah, so, it's something to look forward to. The cold weather brings everybody down, and I know the listeners, it's the same way for you guys, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there getting all jacked up about turkey season here.
Right. Yep.
So
it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. And we wish everybody the best of luck when it comes to hunting turkeys.
Absolutely. Now, we got a special guest with us today. We have actually two special guests from the same outdoor group. Now and then we bump into these guys and gals that are forming their own hunting club, so to speak, or kind of like a band of brothers, band of sisters that form some kind of an outdoor group. And today's guest is Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors. And we have the two founders, Scott Mclean and Mike Grandstaff from
Midwest Game Stalkers.
Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors. So they're joining us on the line. I've got them ready to go. And they have to tell this amazing story about the big deer that they shot.
Awesome.
And, I'm ready.
Let's get them on.
Let's do it. Mike and Scott, welcome to the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so we hear that you have some really good deer stories to tell, and that you've actually formed a band of hunting brothers, so to speak, called Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors. I want to get into the whole story behind both of them. And I'll just tell us a little bit about where you guys are from right now and how you kind of got your passion for hunting.
Okay, Jay, thank you. I'm Mike Grandstaff. I'm originally from Indiana. I lived there for 40 years. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I moved out here to Iowa. And I met up with Scott at a job that we work at, and we became pretty good friends. And our true passion that we both share is hunting and being in the outdoors. And just got to talking one day and thought, well, let's just start up a hunting team. And as you know, there's a lot of them out there. And we just thought we would try our hand at it and see what we could come up with.
Awesome. Now, being from the Midwest, you guys are broken up into 4 different states. And do you have different pro staffers, so to speak, in each state?
Yeah, we've been trying to keep at least 2 in the state so the guys can hunt together and videotape each other. And some of them did know each other, and some know each other now.
Oh, okay.
So it's been working pretty good for shooting video.
That's a pretty good system. Excellent. Where did you guys grow up?
I grew up in North Dakota. I was out there for 20-some years, and I've been here in Iowa ever since, looking for big bucks. And we sent some pictures away, and on our website we've got a lot of growing up pictures and deer that we've shot here in the last umpteen years. So it kind of updates the people that get on the site. You can see what we've done through the years.
Right. Very cool. Now, who was it that inspired you to get outside in the first place?
Well, for me, I would have to say it was my Uncle Mike and my dad. And my whole family was pretty much into outdoors, the hunting, fishing. And I got a twin brother, Marv, and, we hunted for 30-some years together out there in Indiana. And so I'd have to say, yeah, mostly my family.
Gotcha. So you kind of grew up into it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's pretty much what I did when I was a kid. A lot of goose hunting and deer hunting with all my uncles and my grandpa and my dad and my 2 brothers. I got one Brad and one Glenn. One's in North Dakota and one's in Minnesota now.
Gotcha.
But we just went back and forth, and they come out to hunt, and I go up there and go fishing and hunt. So still an ongoing deal.
It doesn't end, does it? It's just in your blood. What? Tell us about your mission. What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
Well, I think one of the main goals is to keep this hunting heritage alive for many generations to come. Just there's so many youth out there on the social networks, and hopefully we can inspire the youth to look at us and say, that looks like a lot of fun. We've actually, run into people that are youth that are not all into that hunting lifestyle, and sometimes you can turn them into that, and it's a good trade-off from going down the wrong road. Put it that way.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, Mike? Do you think there's a breakdown in the fabric of the way kids are being raised today?
I think a lot of it's got to do with either the parents just don't have the money, or they're just not into that outdoors lifestyle. It seems to me that a lot of the people that you run out here and you see these kids hunting, it's because their mom and dad hunt. You know what I mean? You see the shows on TV, and everybody that's in the hunting industry, they're always trying to push it to get youth involved. And different organizations, they can shoot bows in school. It's just a lot of fun. And if kids can pick up on that, they're going to keep it forever.
Right. Yep. My dad taught me how to hunt, and there's always somebody in your family that I think you always look up to that you can kind of point back to. And my dad taught me how to hunt. So did my grandfathers, my uncles. So it was all kind of part of my life. And I think that's similar. There's always a similar story to that in everybody's family. But there are always those kids that aren't exposed to it. And that's where I think we really need to reach out to a lot, is to bring those kids in that don't have that exposure. Now, Mike, what is your involvement, or what is your position, I should say, with Midwest Game Stalkers? What do you think your role is?
Well, Scott and I are the co-founders of this team. I don't know. I feel uncomfortable, I guess, to float my own boat, but
that's all right.
We try and keep it pretty equal as far as all the members. I do have a hand in trying to get a lot of things organized. My wife, she does a lot of the Facebook and the internet work.
Okay.
It's just, I hate to float my own boat, man. we try to keep ours as a team. So if we've got decisions, we've got things to do, we have a tendency to bring it up to a vote, and sometimes that gets drug out. And if it comes down to nitty-gritty, we got to get something done. Me and Michael talk about it. We bring up new people and look at what they've done and what they can bring to the team. And sometimes you just got to short things up.
Right. So how many people are on your team total?
We got 17 right now. We just put on 3 guys this week. We got 2 new guys from Kansas and potentially a third from Kansas, and real happy to have those guys come aboard. But so we're spread out in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Kansas now.
Oh, wow. So you guys are really gearing up for some good hunting. So it seems like every other day I see a deer that's submitted by one of your guys from Midwest Game Stalkers somewhere to the Big Buck Registry. And it's, they're always big deer. They're not small. They're not like, these are not like first deer. These are some big time whitetails you're submitting. So you guys are doing something right. You clearly picked the right hunters for the job.
I'm going to jump in and ask, how do you pick a hunter to be a pro staffer with Midwest Game Stalkers? Say somebody's interested in it. What kind of qualifications do you guys look for?
I would say the number one qualification is somebody that has the true passion for the outdoors. And you can tell right off the bat when you ask one of these guys, hey, would you be interested in joining the team? And you can feel the excitement when they tell you, oh, yeah, it's just like these guys from Kansas. They've got me juiced up just because they're so excited about doing it.
Right.
That's cool.
Lots of energy going around. When you get into it, there's always an energy level that's passed on, kind of keeps you going. Like Dusty keeps me going. I think I keep him going.
Yeah, you got to drive each other. There's no doubt about it. If somebody don't have the drive or the push on both ends, it's got to work as a team, and you got to push each other. You got to get out there and just go at it. If one person slows down, the other one drives them on. And it sounds like that's the same way for you guys there at Midwest Game Stalkers.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because some of these days that we're out there, been quite a few in the state of Iowa this year, that you're not going to get sunburn out there by any means. It was way below zero with the wind blowing pretty hard, and we were still out there. Me and Mike hunted almost every weekend possible, and it's just fun because we're both out there and we both want to be there, and that's the only way you're going to get it done, because you're not going to shoot it from inside the house.
Right? Yeah. There's no bucks walking by your couch offering a shot. That's a fact.
That's true.
Well, sometimes it happens in your backyard, doesn't it, Dusty?
They actually walk down the side street, but it's quite a shot from the couch.
All right. Yeah, it's sometimes they knock and ring your doorbell, from what I understand.
Well, it depends on if the feeder's empty or not.
Right. No, I understand. Yep. Now, Scott and Mike, who would you say is the best hunter in your group?
Oh boy.
That's a great question, Jay.
Start something there now.
It's a bit of a trick question, but I'm trying to see if there's any kind of competitive nature amongst you guys.
Here's the best answer I could give you, and it's, boys, just check your ego at door, because on our team, we just don't look at it that way. We're all equal. No matter what you put down in the past, it's what we're going for in the future. And that's just what keeps us going. The passion to lay it down on video and to share it with the world, that's what we're all about.
Gotcha. Now, when you shoot a big deer and you get back to camp, you ever rib each other a little bit? Just kind of say, is there any kind of competitive thing going on, or is it you just forget it? It's all, the whole ego is gone.
Well, the ribbon part, that'll get them out there and really fire them up. I mean, we've got some big guys, we've got some little guys, and they're all just a really good group. We're having a lot of fun together, and that's about the only way that we, keep them out there and get them going. And the ribbon part's the fun part.
Absolutely, that's one of the best things going. It's part of deer camp, to be quite honest.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me rephrase the question then. Who has the best beard out of all of you guys?
It's not me, because I've shaved.
Now,
I'm down to a T now.
The reason I noticed that is that, Mike, the picture that you sent in with the big deer, you're sporting I would say a Duck Dynasty-esque type of beard. I don't think it quite got there, but it's significant.
Yes, it was.
We had a little story with that. When hunting came up, that's what me and Mike were doing is the first one to shoot a buck this year is we're going to get the shave first. So, as you can see, it was a little late in the season when we got that done.
Gotcha. All right, who shaved first?
I did. Scott got the shave on a different hunt. He got it done, so he got the shave first.
Gotcha. Run down some of your staffers that you have. Tell us about some of the individuals and the personalities you've got working for you.
Well, we got Bob Aikman over in Ohio. We met up with them. Oh, good grief, that was a while ago. He actually plays guitar, and he wrote a song for our team. It's a really good song.
Can you sing a little bit of it for us?
No, you don't even want me to sing it. That's go up, not down, bud.
All right. Who else you got?
Well, we got, let me see here. We got a unique guy on the team. We just put him on this week. His name's Jesse Bainter. He's not even a hunter. He's a fly fisherman. I don't know, extraordinaire. He ties his own flies. He's got some of the best flies I've ever seen anybody tie.
Okay.
And he just got passion for fishing, just like I got for hunting. So, we got, Big Mike Derrickson. He lives out in Indiana. He's actually pretty close to me. He's one of my best friends. He's the godfather, and his wife is the godmother of my wife and I's baby. So he's just a real good guy. Let me see. We got Brett Wilhite is actually my nephew, and his brother Steele is my nephew. They both grew up hunting with my brother and me. Just all around good guys. I got Glenn McLean, which is Scott's brother. He lives up in Minnesota, right? In Bemidji, that's right. And just a wonderful fisherman. And he can get it done in the woods, too. I mean, there's not one person on our staff that can't get it done, because their stories and their pictures will tell it all.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're not only looking for guys that hunt, but you're looking for guys that are just outdoorsmen.
In a nutshell.
Okay.
Our main primary focus, if you want to get real about it, is a whitetail.
Okay.
But we got a unique guy from Kansas. He does trick shots with his bow. We just watched him on YouTube. His name is Heath Getty, Getty. Just phenomenal video that he takes of himself. He's got an awesome hunt on there. So, yeah, he really turned us on this week whenever we got him on board. So we're real excited about that.
That's cool. Sounds like you got a real good crew and solid across the board. What do you have set up for this coming year? What's the plan?
Well, this year we're going to hopefully get enough video to end the first video that we're going to shoot. So that's our biggest plan this year, is to get that done. We've got some younger kids that are going to be on video this year. We've got some youth hunts coming up, black powder and with the bows. So that's another big thing that we've got going, and we've got the youth hunt for the turkey. So a little more bringing the youth into it and getting this video out.
Gotcha. Very cool. I want to break down a couple hunts, and I'm going to let my field correspondent from Ohio take us down that road. Dusty likes to dig in deep, so prepare yourself. He likes to ask a lot of questions about how the hunt came to develop and how you guys became successful at that hunt, right down to the gear check, alarm clock to harvest. So, Dusty, why don't you take it from here?
Yeah, Mike, you submit a phenomenal whitetail to the Big Buck Registry. I want to get a little detail as far as how your guys' season starts out and all the way to the harvest. And how I like to start that is tell us a little bit about what state you harvested that buck in.
We harvested that in Iowa.
That was an Iowa buck, okay. When you guys first start off in, let's say it's early spring, do you guys start getting any kind of preparation for food plots or anything like that early spring? Tell us how you start your spring out.
Well, basically in the spring, we're just setting up trail camps. The places that we hunt, Scott's hunted this one area for quite a few years, so he's got the deer. He kind of knows where they're at all the time. Well, you know what I mean, but there are certain trails in there that they use year after year after year. So we really don't do a whole lot that's special. We just pay attention to what's going on and where the deer are traveling. Different food sources dictate, maybe different travel patterns, but for the main part, the deer usually use the same main trails. Now, this one particular deer that you're talking about that I submitted a picture of, this was on public land, believe it or not, about a mile from my house that we just... Well, let me back up a minute. The deer was actually shot on private land, which we had permission to be on, which there's a lane right between that and this public land. And Scott had got permission from his neighbor to hunt that. So we went down there, and this was in second week in January, in blackwater season. And so we went down there and sat. And this is the story I was telling you. It's a pretty good story, really. I mean,
right. Let's get into more of the details before we get into the actual story. Let's run through a few things, and then we'll get into the real deal story of the harvest. We're going to move on into you're getting into fall now. You guys, you was talking about trail cameras. What kind of trail cameras you guys put out?
We've
we've got a couple different ones that we do use. Wild Games and the other one.
I got a Bushnell that I use. I've had it for quite a few years. I think that's
pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think we've put out probably 4 or 5 of them this year.
So you guys are running Bushnells and Wild Game Innovation trail cameras.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
When you set your trail cameras up, you guys do that on food stores? You do it on trails? Where all do you locate your trail cameras?
Mainly on the trails. We didn't put any bait out this year to get pictures on trail cams, other than just the natural food source out there, but you can see where the main trails are, and our whole focus is to see what's on them trails. Excuse me. So what we'll do is set a trail cam up on that trail, and we'll take stock in what bucks are in that area, and what time they're moving.
I got a great question. Do you guys name your deer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got some names.
Let's hear some of these names for these bucks out there.
We got High Tower, one of them. We got Twin Towers. We got Circle Buck. We got Goofy Rack, and I named one after my daughter because that's one of the. Hopefully, she's going to shoot this year, so I call that the JD Buck.
Oh,
how did you come up with those names?
Just the way they look. The racks are a lot different than any other bucks that are out there.
Yeah, it's like you look at a rack and it's like the name pops in your head as soon as you see it.
Gotcha.
Very cool. We always like to hear some of the different names of the bucks that are out there in different states, and this good conversation. And Jay will tell you, I like to hear what you name your deer. So you guys got your trail cameras out, and you've kind of found a main trail. What are you doing for tree stand setups? Are you guys ground blinds? You in hang-ons, ladder stands? Tell us a little bit about your setup for your tree stands.
We use ladder stands. We use portable stands. We have hunted out of the ground blind too. We kind of do it all as far as whatever it takes to get it done. We've sit on the ground behind trees.
What's your favorite setup to hunt out of?
That's a hard one.
It's kind of like the favorite's kind of the tree stands because it's a lot easier to videotape out of them.
Right.
For us.
Right.
I mean, it's okay in the ground blind too, but it's just a lot easier in the stand.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the terrain out there. Is it open grain fields? Are you guys hunting hardwoods? Tell us a little bit about the area.
You got a lot of crop fields. You got hardwoods. You got ravines, big gullies, rolling hills. It's not flat. I don't know, contrary to belief. Everybody says, "Oh, Iowa's flat," but wait till you come out here and walk around a little bit. It's prime whitetail habitat. That's what it is.
Right, excellent. So you got your trail cameras out. You found this big buck. You've hung your tree stand, or you set your ground blind up, or you've picked out a big tree that you can sneak in behind to hopefully get the harvest shot off. Tell us a little bit about your equipment as far as your camo. What kind of camo you guys prefer?
Well, what we're using right now is I got a Sony Handycam HD with a 40 power zoom. Scott's camera is pretty similar, and it shoots all in high definition with just SD cards. And the video footage, if you put it on your flat screen TV, is just phenomenal. I know a lot of guys go out and spend $5,000-$6,000 on a camera, and you really don't even need to. I mean, we've found that we've got really good video with just what we've got, and it's not that expensive.
Right. Give us a price range on the Sony camera that you've got.
I think a wife, she got that for me on Black Friday. I think it's like $399.
Okay,
so I can get that.
It's pretty affordable, and it does what quality video that you need to hunt with.
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Tell us a bit about your equipment as far as camouflage. What kind of camo are you guys wearing out there?
I use a Real Tree. It's an Under Armour coat and pants set. And a lot of base layers for this year's been totally cold, so I've had probably 4 or 5 layers underneath. Excuse me. So that's pretty much what I heard.
Right. When you say layers, tell us a little bit about you guys Under Armour. What are you doing for base layers to keep you warm?
Yeah, mine's about the same thing. It's just Real Tree, and we're looking at trying to get some of the similar stuff, so can't tell us apart. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. So that makes for better pictures when you can match, right?
Yeah, but we're the same thing. We're a lot of layers to try to keep warm. A lot of heat packs, keep fingers warm. Heat packs in the boots. One big thing is years ago they had the zip-up boot that went around your regular packs.
Right.
They were called the boot warmers.
Yeah.
And you zip them up like 15, 20 years ago they came out. those things really work real well. You put heat packs inside them and put your boots in them.
Really? So they actually slip over top of your boots?
Yep, and it zips up in the back.
Right. Are they still selling them today?
It makes you look like Bigfoot, but man, do they keep you warm.
Yeah, it don't matter as long as your feet stay warm, right?
Yeah, your feet and your head and your fingers.
Right on.
Well,
Go ahead.
The rest you'll keep warm if you keep them warmed up.
You guys use any kind of soaps or sprays to knock down your scent?
We use a lot of spray.
Tell us a little bit about what kind of spray you're using.
We use the scent away and sprayed on everything, equipment, each other, backside, front side, top side. Yeah, we had the first hunt we had a deer come in and it was 6-7 yards straight downwind of us and they didn't smell us. I think we got blew out one time this year out of all the hunts we're on. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. Is that an earth scent or is that just a regular scent cover?
Yeah, just regular no scent.
No scent. Okay, yeah. Okay, right on. So as you get ready for your hunt, we're going to get into a little more detail now of this buck that you submitted. What time did you guys get up that morning?
Well, we actually got up to go to work, and we went to work. Yeah. And we worked 8 hours that day, and so we boogied out to the woods right after we got off work.
Right. So what's the weather conditions that day?
Frigid cold, very, very cold, below zero.
Really?
It's sunny.
So it's below zero and sunny, and was the wind cranking that day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was cranked up 20, 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's some wind there. So you got up and went to work that day and decided after work that you was going to head to the tree stand. Tell us what happened once you guys got out to the woods that night.
Well, the story is, this is interesting because that night was actually the second night that we actually hunted that property. The first night when we went out there, it was the same story. We went out for work. And we were standing there. Scott seen this buck. And I was standing behind a tree and to the west of Scott, probably 5 yards. And he was looking around another tree, big tree. We were looking out over a little bit of tall weeds. And it went out into the cornfield, big cornfield. Well, Scott said, he said, "Do you see that buck over there?" And I was like, "I didn't see the buck." And I seen 3 does over there, and they turned around and they started running to the east away from us. And I never did see the buck, and I just thought maybe Scott was joking with me. So anyway, we decided we'd go back the second night, and we weren't there probably almost at the same setup. We just moved down 15 yards to the east just a little bit.
So are you on the ground at this point?
Yes, sir, on the ground. And we just got in there, set up, probably sitting there 15 minutes, probably. And I'm looking out in this little patch of weeds, and here he comes. And I was like, holy cow. I couldn't believe my eyes, to be honest. And I told Scott, I said, here he comes. He
Get
goes,
ready.
"What?" Oh, yeah. And Scott said he looked up, and all he seen was antlers. And actually, I had my gun up, and I had the sights right on him. He was probably 80 to 100 yards out, and he was coming right for us. And he stopped, and he looked our direction, and then he turned to the south, which kind of opened him up for a shot. And believe it or not, I missed it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Buck fever.
I have to be honest, I don't know what it was, but
Classic symptom right there.
Don't know what it was. We love to hear that. We're going to beat you up a little bit now that you told us you got the fever.
You've been diagnosed.
Oh, the story gets a lot better. So, as the deer is running away, Scott pulls up on him, and he's probably 250 yards on a run, but not a fast run. And Scott puts one in him, hits him on the left side in the ribs. It hit the rib, and it actually went in and was just barely sticking into the liver. I'm guessing it was a liver, from what I put my finger in the hole later, but I pulled the slug out, and it was his slug. But actually, the deer kept running, and it stopped about 306 yards out. And by that time, I was loaded, Scott was loaded, and the deer was standing broadside, staring right at us. So I took a shot at him, and like Scott said, the wind was whipping, but I hit him in the leg. Got to be honest with you, hit it in the leg. Didn't think that would happen, but it did. But the irony of that is, if I wouldn't hit him in the leg, we would have never trailed it, because we tracked that deer for about a mile.
Good point. Good point. Yep.
Yep, and I know it. I don't know.
That's an interesting story. So it was kind of a combination kill.
This is the story, so I'll be honest and tell you. So anyway, we tracked the deer that night, and we tracked it into the dark. And we thought, well, how far we tracked it? Probably quarter mile. And then we decided, let's just back out. And, you know, because he's not running, he's walking, he's dragging a leg. So we backed out and came back. We took work off and started out early in the morning, got back on the blood trail.
So did you call in sick that day? Is that a sick day qualification?
No, our boss is actually pretty good about that.
Yeah, just curious, you know, that qualifies for a sick day for me if I got to track a deer.
Yeah, he's real good about it, so he gave us the okay. So we pick up the blood trail, and granted, he's back in the public property now, and there's a bunch of lowland sapling trees. They grow like in big bunches.
Right.
Deer like get up in those and hide. So we followed him through a couple of them, got out into some open woods, and just a nice blood trail all the way. We came up to one of those circle sapling lowland areas, and we followed the blood into where it kind of went in, and then we kind of lost blood. So Scott was going to go up through the middle of it, and I was going to go around the edge of it. And I'm standing there, and I walked all the way to the north side of it, and Scott's on the south side still going through because it's starting to get thick. And I'm sitting there looking to see if maybe this buck come out the north side and try and find some blood. And it was a weird thing, I'm telling you. I'm just looking around, and I look over, and that buck is sitting there looking at me. And he was only 5 to 8 feet from me.
Wow.
On the other side of a couple trees. And I looked over there at him, he looked at me, he winked. And that's when I put the final shot on him.
Did you say he winked?
Yeah. He winked.
He winked.
Winked at you.
I've never walked up on one that close that was still alive.
Right.
So that is the hunt. It was kind of a dual harvest, you know. I can't take credit for all of it. That's kind of me and Scott both did that.
Yeah, that's just you know, congrats on finding him. That's a heck of a story and have a good ending.
Yeah, that's cool. It's good teamwork, good happy ending there, and that's great. Very cool.
Oh,
So
yeah.
how'd you guys? You say you're a mile back in public ground. How'd you get that buck to the truck?
How'd we get it to the truck?
Yeah. This is getting good.
Here we go. There's another story coming. I can just sense
get ready.
it. Here we go.
Oh boy, we've got.
Let's hear it.
I got a long black sled, put it that way, and
Right.
we bungeed him in there, and he took a ride. Yeah, that's about the bungee strap works really well.
Right. Did on the sled? Did you just drag it with both of you, or you got an ATV, or how'd you do it?
Well, we've got a trail that cut down through the center of it, so we had to get him back over the trail because in the state of Iowa, you can't go into public hunting with ATVs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you drug him to the trail, and then you was able to drag him on out with the ATV.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
Very cool story. So how'd he taste?
Well, to be honest with you, it tastes real good. We actually here's another adventure for me.
There we go.
Scott and I processed this deer, and we processed a doe that Scott had done. We did it here in my garage. We turned it into jalapeno summer sausage and salsa summer sausage. You know, the steaks, the loins, did deer broths out of it, and yeah, it's just phenomenal.
Awesome. Sounds tasty.
Oh, buddy.
What's your favorite way to cook up venison?
I like to barbecue grill steaks myself. I like to put the brats on the grill also. I like cooking them inside too, but they're a little bit better outside on the grill. In the smoker, pretty much anyway.
However you can get it in there, right? Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. If you guys could narrow in on one thing that makes you more successful hunters than others, what would you point at?
I'd have to say determination to get it done. I'll tell you what, if you guys could have been out there with us, even on a couple of these hunts this year, if we wouldn't have been together, we'd have probably went home. But it was just being out there together that kept us. I mean, we almost lost toes this year. And that's no kidding.
Right.
I've never hunted as hard as I have in all my years as I did this year.
So are you saying like frostbite?
Pretty close, but I never did.
Right.
My toes got so cold that they actually peeled.
Really?
Yeah, but we stuck it out.
That's cold. That's cold feet.
Oh yeah. Until we got the boot warmer that I had in my hunting room, I decided to use those.
Is that after your toes peeled, you decided to break out the boot warmers?
Yeah. I figured we had to do something. You know, this is Iowa. You got to be out here if you want to see them big ones.
Right on.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point. Is that it's really more about being out there. that's probably success tip number one. I would buy into that.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing about being out there too, you might have to add this to your checklist when you're asking people.
Yeah.
But when you're out there videotaping, you not only have to bring your bow or your whatever weapon you're using, but you have to pack in equipment. So we're both packing backpacks. We stayed out from sun up until sundown. You got to bring something in there to eat. So I mean, we're both packing a lot of stuff back in there.
Right.
But,
Yeah. If it's cold and you're going to stay the day, you've got to go prepared. Your pack is going to be everything.
Yeah, we're in there from way before sunup until way after sundown, because if you let them know you're in there, you're not going to see the big ones.
Right.
It's an endurance thing is what it is.
Right. No question about it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one of the other bucks that came in that we posted about an hour ago on the Big Buck Registry's Facebook page was from a fella by the name of Matt. And it looks like Matt Winger. Is that correct?
Yeah, from Kansas.
From Kansas. Do you know anything about that deer?
Well, not really. To be honest with you, we just got him on board, and we haven't had a lot of time to share all the stories.
But I do believe that one was videotaped from the ground.
Okay.
And shot on it.
It's a beautiful deer. It looks like it was a bow and arrow hunt. Don't know what time it came, or it actually went down, but just another great deer for Midwest Game Stalkers. Just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So where do you want to take Midwest Game Stalkers from here?
Well, we'd definitely like to grow it. We'd like to get a DVD out there. As you notice, if anybody looks at our Facebook page or our website, you'll notice that we really don't have sponsors.
Right.
We really aren't worried about that. The way we look at it, we all have the equipment to use, but we need to prove ourselves to these companies if they're even going to look at us. And we're just taking it slow, and eventually when we get our DVD done and we send out trailers to companies, they're gonna, they'll come along. We're not in an overnight rush to get it done.
Right. Gotcha. One of the comments that we had on our Facebook page about the deer that Matt shot, they said it looks fake. Well, my opinion on that is if you're not shooting deer that big, they probably all look fake to you.
Oh yeah.
Right.
They got some big ones down there where he hunts, is what he says. So,
but the funny thing about these fake deer is that we actually have video for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Video is very cool.
Many bakers get on video.
Yep. Well, guys, if you ever want to make me and Dusty an honorary pro staffer for Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors, we'd be honored to do it. And we're definitely going to be posting and sharing a lot of your deer as you keep submitting them. So, keep sending them in, and we'll keep posting them.
That's a done deal right there. We sure appreciate that.
Definitely give me some pictures over at Chubby Tines Outdoors, and I'd like to share some of your photos with my viewers also.
Okay, no problem. Well,
now I'll do a share on your page also there on my page. So, try to get you some more viewers.
Cool. Guys, how can our listeners reach you and find you online and offline?
Well, online they can get on the website, and I think my phone number is on the website. And on Facebook, they can message us anytime they want to. They can private message us. Other than that,
what is the website?
The website's mwgsoutdoors.com.
Okay. All right. And your Facebook page?
Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors.
Okay. And you can just do in the search bar, just type that in, you'll find you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice. Dusty, any final questions for Mike or Scott?
I do have one question. Is that who you think's going to harvest the first buck next season?
That's a good question. If I knew that, I'd have won that lotto last night.
Oh yeah, give us an idea who you think's going to harvest the first buck.
Yeah,
Let's get it out there. Come on, guys.
You guys are tough. Like you just don't want to throw each other under the bus.
Throw somebody under the bus on this one.
Between me and Mike or the whole team?
The whole team.
Oh boy.
First buck, and who's going to hold out till the end?
I think me and Scott will probably hold out till the end, or it's going to have to be a nice one before we'll shoot it.
Right. Who's going to put down the first one?
Oh, buddy. That's a good
I don't know who's going to do that one.
I'm going to say Cory Dewees.
Awesome. Good luck, Cory.
All right, you heard it here first on the Big Buck Registry. Cory will have the first buck of the next season. All right, very nice. Guys, thanks for joining us on tonight's show. We'll definitely send you links to when this comes out, and we'll start doing a share for share and get you guys some coverage and get you some likes on your page.
Jay and Dusty, it's our pleasure to do this with you. It's been a blast. We'd sure do it again. It's hopefully it's not a one-time deal. We hear from you guys.
No, we'd love to have you guys back, and just to go through any of the any of the hunts that you have that you think are interesting and successful. We want to hear about them.
I want to tell you a story.
All right.
We love stories.
I told you that I lived in Indiana for 40 years.
Yeah.
I'm only 42, but I come out here to Iowa. And my very first year of hunting Iowa. Okay, let me back that up. When you live in Indiana and you hear of Iowa and the land of giants,
yeah,
I'm just frothing at the mouth to come out here and hunt. So my first year, I was actually on another hunting team with another coworker, and believe it or not, the very first buck, which I have on video, that I actually shot with my bow, we seen him at 100 yards walking to the stand, and I stalked within 50 yards of him. And I shot him, and the wind was blowing about 35 miles an hour, so it pushed my arrow probably an inch high and an inch to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the best shot, but the deer was about a 200-inch deer, first Iowa deer I ever shot.
Wow.
Sad story
That's
is,
a giant.
me and Scott went back the next day and found blood 450 yards from where I shot him, and that was the last blood we ever found.
Wow.
Never on the deer.
It's an unfortunate part of hunting. Sometimes that's going to happen.
That's why they call it hunting, not shopping.
That's it. That's
Right
it.
on.
Yep.
They don't wrap it in cellophane. That's just not the way it works.
No, but I will say this to all the hunters listening. No matter if it's a 3-pointer or it's 200-inch deer, don't give up on that deer. Don't quit looking for it.
Right.
You know, pay homage to that deer and what it actually represented to you as a hunter. And I'll be honest with you, 6 months after that happened, I was still looking for him.
Right.
That's how much that deer meant to me.
Yeah, you have to, and you'd still be looking for it today if there wasn't a bit of logic. And probably when you're out in the woods in that area, you probably still poke around a little bit, don't you?
Oh yeah, you never know. If squirrels might not have got a hold of the rack, and you might find it or something.
Yeah,
you never know.
You hope, but the reality is you'll never find that deer. But there's always still, and it's just human nature. You're like, well,
The route.
you recreate it.
When we were out in that neck of the woods, every time a buck comes by, we're still looking. Maybe he didn't. Maybe the coyote didn't get him, or maybe he didn't make it.
Yeah, maybe he made it.
You just never know.
Well, we got it on video though. That's kind of a bittersweet thing though.
Right.
Honest.
Yeah, but as a hunter, you put your determination to try to find that wounded buck or wounded doe, either or. It don't matter to me if it's a buck or a doe.
Exactly.
If somebody calls and says I got a wounded deer, let's put the effort in and go the extra mile, because for one, it's meat in the freezer to me. It's food on the table.
Exactly.
It's organic meat. You can't just buy it in the store.
Right.
So the determination to find an animal that's been wounded, you got to take it to the next level. That's a responsibility of a hunter, and it sounds like you guys did, and that's give you props for that. Some guys just give up after a couple 100 yards, and that's not hunting.
No, it's
No,
go ahead.
Well, me as a hunter, and I know Scott feels the same way. We're not killers. A lot of guys talk like, when they shoot an animal, they kill it. They kill it. I personally don't look at it that way. I harvest these animals. That's what, God put them on this earth for me to eat. And it's just that animal means more to me than just, a trophy on the wall. I guess I eat, sleep, and breathe whitetail, and, they mean a lot more to me than just to shoot them and let them go.
Right.
And not look at them.
Well, they should. I mean, they're sustenance. They're free range organic. They're something very educational and beneficial, and there's a tradition to hunting that everybody should experience. You should experience harvesting your own meat. If you're a meat eater and you're just buying it from the grocery store, you should experience a hunt to understand and respect the food that you put on your plate. There's a huge gap I found in a lot of societies or different parts of the country. But if you have not harvested some of the own meat that you eat, you'll never truly understand any of it. That's the bottom line.
Yes, sir. And you say that about the harvesting part in the story, but all the racks that we do have mounted, they all have a story. And between the two of us, there's not one story that we've forgot. So
Right.
even though you did harvest it and the animal is still here, the story's still there, and you remember that part forever.
Right.
Oh, exactly.
There's always the story behind the harvest, and there's just this. And that's really why we're talking today, is that these deer deserve more of the story. They deserve to be archived and preserved, so to speak, forever by telling the story behind the deer. It's just, I think that's nature's way, and it really should be that way.
The story with the deer meat also is, I've had quite a few people, I'm a softball coach also, and I've had a lot of people over at the house, and they've been over for barbecues, and when stuff is being cooked, I'll cook deer and have people try it, and they have no idea what it is.
Right.
And they love it. But if you don't tell them, they love it, and they leave, and they don't really know what it was. And then a week later, you'll ask, what was that, or did you like that, or, they'll, in the same conversation, they'll say, well, I don't like deer. Well, if you don't know what it is and you like it, it takes your head away from it, and it's not your head telling you that you don't like it. It's yourself telling you like it or you do.
Right.
So heads up if you're headed to your house for a barbecue.
I've got the turtle, too.
Right. That turtle's good.
I've never had turtle. What's it like? Sounds interesting.
We cleaned a
Go
pond
ahead.
this year. We cleaned out a pond this year doing that. Had a lot of fun doing it. Jug fished the neighbor's pond because it was way overrun with turtle. It was killing all the fish out. So me and Mike and another coworker went out there, jug fished it. We cleaned out probably 100 of them.
Wow.
That's plenty infested.
Yeah, that's a lot of turtles. Yeah, if turtles cooked right, it's real good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, unless you've got another story, we'll let you go.
We'll have to save a few for next time.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Fair deal.
I'd just like to say, Jay and Dusty, it's been a pleasure. And for all the hunters that are listening, or even the kids that are listening, get outdoors, get out from in front of that TV, experience what's out there. There's more than any TV could ever provide, and it's just right outside the window. Just get out there and enjoy it, and get a gun or a bow, and just live the dream of what we're doing. And well, I tell you, it'll take you down the right road every time.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well said.
Yep. Awesome, guys. This has been fantastic. Thank you for joining us on the Big Buck Podcast, and we'll definitely have you on again to tell some more big deer hunting stories.
All righty, thank you guys.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye. Well, Dusty, once again, I learned something about hunting.
That's the main focus of the Big Buck Podcast. We hope everybody learns something every time we release one.
Right.
It's very cool guys. Sounds like that they're real strong on follow-ups after their shot. And
Right.
that right there should be every hunter's focal point. Not only be a good shot, but I think the most important thing is to have some tracking ability after the shot.
Right.
That you got to master that if you're going to be a bow hunter or a gun hunter. You got to be able to do some blood tracking.
I mean, a hugely important aspect of hunting. No question about it. If you don't know how to track, find somebody that does. If you shoot,
it ups your odds. I'm going to say 95%. If you can shoot good and you can track good,
right,
you're going to be an excellent hunter.
Yep. No, I even like to, even when I've made a good shot, I don't mind calling in a buddy. Hey, why don't you come help me look, just in case.
I try to talk. I try to call somebody that's asked me questions about tracking. If I take a few minutes after the shot and walk up and check out my harvest, I go back out and I call somebody that really had a lot of questions early season. What do I do if I shoot one? What about this? What happens after that? I just call them up, not just for the tracking, but, for the, doing a cleanup and doing a removal of the animal out of the woods. It's all a process, and it's something that every hunter needs to learn. If you don't have somebody to show you, definitely ask around. Most guys are more than willing to help you out to get your harvest out of the woods the proper way.
Oh yeah. And the older I get, the more apt I am to make a phone call to more than one person. Say, hey, can you come help me drag my deer out? And if all goes well, they'll actually drag it out for me.
Right. They're excited and no different you are.
Yeah, they're as excited as I am, but they do all the dragging, which is just great.
Well, you're just getting old. That's all.
My joints hurt a little more than they used to, but I don't mind dragging a deer. I do enjoy that part. I like the physical aspects of it, but same time, if somebody else is there and they want to learn and they don't mind taking a deer steak here and there, hey, I'll let them do the work too.
Yeah, I agree to that. A lot of guys call me when it's process time.
Right.
They just want to learn, some of the tips and tricks that I know that, I've been cutting my own deer and worked at a butcher shop, and they want to learn so that, it saves them somewhere around $100.
Right.
If they cut their own. And I try to have an open door policy. If you harvest one, you want to cut it up. As long as you help me, I'll cut it up for you.
Right. Very cool. Well, thanks again to Midwest Game Stalkers Outdoors, Mike Grandstaff and Scott Mclean for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you again on the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck podcast, talking about some more Midwest big bucks.
Yeah, and good luck with chasing your dream out there. And I think that's, that's a lot of it. You got a dream and you chase it.
That's it, man. Speaking of dreams, how do people reach you, Dusty?
www.facebook.com/Chubby Tines Outdoors. Submit a picture, shoot me a message. Let's chat. Let's hang out. Join the family.
Exactly.
How can people reach out to you at the Big Buck Registry, Jay?
All right. BigBuckRegistry.com Facebook.com/Big Buck Registry. 724-613-2825. Share the podcast with your friends by going on to any of the podcast apps that you're using, whether it's Blueberry, Libsyn. Libsyn has a great interface with Facebook, so post it on your Facebook page so other friends that you know can see that you're a fan of the show. You can reach us at twitter.com/Big Buck Registry. And if you want to give us some feedback, that 724-613-2825 is a great place to leave some feedback. If you'd like to be on the show, you can leave a message there. You can even text that number with a picture of a deer. So, hey, you're in the woods, you just shot a deer, go up, snap a picture, text it to 724-613-2825, and just a little information about who you are, where you're at. That's all we care about. Just the name of a hunter and the location, just the state. That's fine. That's all we need. And we'll post it on the Big Buck Registry within minutes of you actually harvesting that deer. Obviously, the season is over right now, but when that happens, starting in September, send it along. We want to see it. I think that's about it, Dusty.
Yeah, check out the NRA if you guys are not a member. Check them out, NRA.
Absolutely. You would definitely want to go join the NRA. One of those things we often overlook, and sometimes I think we take it for granted as hunters because we're not always thinking about gun rights. We're thinking about hunting. We forget that there are organizations out there that are really helping us maintain our gun rights and keep those firearms in our hands to enjoy the things that we like doing, whether it be shooting or hunting. Yes, it's a right, but there are people trying to take that right away every single day. So unless we combat it, we're joining the forces of some heavy lobbyists and other groups that can actually promote gun rights. And this world will be way different.
That's a fact. Thanks to all the listeners out there, all the fans, all the friends. We'll see you guys next week on the Big Buck Registry Big Buck Podcast. I'm Dusty Phillip.
I'm Jay Scott. This is the Big Buck Registry's Big Buck Podcast. See you next week.
Can't wait.